listening to the DFS On Deck podcast, brought to you by LineStar, the top-rated DFS tool set and #1 companion for DraftKings, FanDuel, and Yahoo Daily Fantasy. Go LineStar Premium now at LineStarApp.com. Now, here are your hosts, fantasy baseball experts Joe Pisapia and Chris Meaney.
Hey, yo, what's up, everybody? It's me, Joe Pisapia, and welcome to On Deck right here on the LineStar app. It's me, it's Chris Meaney, and I know what you're thinking about. You're thinking, Joe, Chris, where the hell were you yesterday? Well, Chris and I decided to take a day off and sit in the hammocks, and people brought us cocktails on the beach, and it was really nice. We went to Cancun for 24 hours. No, that's not what happened at all. There were only 4 games on the slate, and we said, that's not really the best use of your time and our time. So instead, we're going to do a Thursday show for you. That's right. We're usually off on Thursday, but there's more games on Thursday. So we're going to do a Thursday show, and we're going to hopefully have that out for you very early in the day, too, to take care of all your day game needs. So we took Monday off, switched around on you because, Chris, after all, we're the people show, and we have to be here for the people.
That's what it's all about. It's for the people. I think that's like a wrestling thing, is it not? For the people?
It is. It's like a wrestling thing. It's very cute of you to try to, get into my wrestling world a little bit there. Yeah, it was The Rock, the people's champion. Yes,
that I know. I know The Rock. I'm well aware.
He's in movies. I don't know if you've noticed.
Yeah, I think I've seen him in.
It's easier to find a movie without The Rock in it.
You're absolutely right about that. He seems to be in everything these days. But I'm a fan. I'm a fan nonetheless. And you're right. Only a few games yesterday, and you know what? Honestly, they didn't really work out for me on my side. Like I was talking Walker Buehler on TQE. I did throw out Manny Machado, but I was more on the Phillies to get it done, Joe. And again, yesterday against Eric Lauer, the guy who gives up the most contact in baseball, is looking into his numbers, and a lot of the contact is hard. But here we are again, Vegas giving a lot of credit and a lot of just props to Philly. And all they could do is muster 2 runs yesterday. So just another team that just does not live up to expectations, and now they got to go up against Chris Paddock tonight. So it'll probably go off.
Right, that'll be the logic.
As much as we talk about them, they are sitting in first place, 33-27, but still, it just...
By the way, Friday night, I was super close. I was super close on FanDuel with that Marquez start, boy. I had Marquez the story. And man, oh man, I mean, I hit all the pay lines and I got paid and stuff, but it basically, if I had put Yastrzemski in instead of the guy that I put in, I probably would have taken down a couple grand on that one. But it's just, and that's the thing, like you got to be so perfect. And it was a multi-entry, and I threw one lineup in because I'm a dope like that. Sometimes I'm just like, nah, whatever. I like this lineup. I believe in this, and I was right. It's just that one thing, and that's what I mean. If you're gonna hit in those big mega entries, like first prize, second, third, or whatever, the big money, you got to be so close. Now, I came away pretty nice with it, but at the same time, it's amazing. There's just zero room for error, dude.
That's why I'm a cash game player. I mean, I love the adrenaline rush and, sweating it out near the end. I was talking to you on Saturday.
Yeah, with 260 something. I mean, that's pretty clean.
Trevor Story got you 70 points.
Yeah. Well, it's
you were all over that. Marquez was a beautiful call, and you know what? He was actually low owned in a lot of tournaments. I noticed, especially on FanDuel, where you just pick that one pitcher. That's what I like on FanDuel. I mean, sometimes you get low exposure to some of these guys, and it goes a long way if they go off, right? Because on DraftKings, I mean, you got to pick the 2 pitchers, but on FanDuel, you can really pivot off the top and find some mid value like you had on Marquez, and you're laughing.
Yeah. All right. Now, a couple quick notes to get to. Keston Hiura got sent down for Travis Shaw, which I'm still trying to get my head around that. I don't understand that. Like it's
annoying.
Like I get he's striking out, but he's got a good slash, 281, 333, 531. He's got 5 dingers. I mean, come on. Now, the only thing
home runs in some big spots too.
I know. The only thing, and I had him in the Friday lineup too. Speaking of home, right? Him, Franmil Reyes. It was a glorious lineup. But I don't understand. The only thing I could think of, Chris, is that they're trying to play Shaw so they could trade Shaw.
Yeah, I could see
they're
that.
Trying to say, here's 2 weeks, go out there and play. We're going to try to flip you in a deal so you could go somewhere else. And you got to play him in order to trade him probably, and just to prove that he's healthy. That's the only thing I could think of. So if you can in season long, go buy some Hero shares on the cheap right now because he got sent down. But, dude, like I don't understand when I look at that what they're thinking about. And I'm more annoyed as a DFS player because he's a guy that's been relatively cheap at second base. And when guys like Altuve out right now, he was a perfect guy to kind of plug in there cheap and, returning investment. And now he's gone, and I'm sad.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he had hit a home run in 3 of his final 5 games. And like I said, just in big spots. I know he hit a huge one in that, crazy shootout game in Pittsburgh. Yeah, I agree. I think that's probably it. They want to play Shaw. They want to showcase him a little bit. Listen, if you're Milwaukee, you know he's going to be back up for you. You're sitting atop the NL Central, 34-26. You have, a stud team. You're full of superstars. You really are. You have a deep squad. You play Shaw. You probably should play Aguilar a little bit as well, just to see if he can get going, and maybe one of the two can get flipped, and here it gets called back up. It's only obvious, like he's gonna get called back up. It is completely annoying because he has been crushing it. If you own him in season-long leagues, I wouldn't drop him. I would just hold on to him. And you're right. And now as a buy low, there's an opportunity there to try to acquire him for cheap. And maybe if you hang on for a couple of days, he'll probably actually just end up on your waiver wire, and you can pluck him for free. So yeah, pretty annoying. But I mean, you're looking at the Brewers, they're just stacked, Joe. I think that's it. Like it sucks to see, but he'll be back in probably a month or so.
All right, and Hunter Dozier went on the 10-day DL with a chest injury, so he's going to be out for a little while. But the good news is David Peralta, who we've been pining for, got activated, so that's good. Hooray! Yay! David Peralta's back in that lineup, so hopefully that is a positive thing there. And in case you missed it this weekend too, this week. Just yesterday was the Major League Baseball draft, so exciting times, new young talent, always exciting. And you know what else is exciting? A new day of DFS, so let's get at it. Let's start over in Washington. Steven Strasburg is 11-5 on FanDuel. On DraftKings, on the other site, he is 11-5. So am I seeing this right, or is this another one of these things that
it's another one of those?
Nope,
things.
it's there. I'm not drunk. No. FanDuel is, again, copying prices. There you go. FanDuel, you scamp. All right. So Trey Turner is 4.9 over on DK. Adam Eaton is 4.2. Got Soto and Rendon very expensive on DK, both in the mid-5s. They're taking on Reynaldo Lopez. Now, theoretically, this should be a really good matchup for Strasburg. You have to pay through the nose for it. I'm okay with it. Expensive, chalky, fine. I prefer it on probably the single pitcher site, to be honest with you, just because I think we can find some value in the offense there. But I think he's going to have his way with this lineup, especially when you take the DH out of it. What do you think about Strasburg today, Chris? Yeah,
I like Strasburg. The White Sox, obviously, top 3, in terms of strikeout percentage, sitting right now at 26%. And I agree with you on FanDuel. That's what we talked about off the top. I think maybe there's 2 ways, obviously, you look at it with the one pitcher. You can pay up at the top, and you get a feeling like if you do spend at the very top with Strasburg, with guys like Snell and Ryu on, Paddock on the board, Castillo on the board, maybe you just get Strasburg with a lower ownership because of that one pitcher. So sometimes that's the contrarian play, to pay up for a pitcher, even in a good matchup. So I do like Strasburg.
All right, Max Fried and Steven Brault going in Pittsburgh here. Look, you look at this Atlanta lineup here, and Austin Riley obviously has gone up in pricing. We know that, especially on the DraftKings side. Finally on FanDuel, he's over 4.1. So the days of the 3.8 or the 3.5 on Riley, that's going to go away for the foreseeable future. What is your take on this one here with Fried? Fried is 8.6 on FanDuel, on DraftKings 7.8. So you're getting a big discount on Fried against Pittsburgh. But I don't know. Is this kind of a trap here with this one? I don't really love this game here in any particular way. How about you?
Yeah, I mean, the Braves do hit lefties pretty well. So, if you are looking for a little bit of value in the lineup, maybe Nick Markakis, maybe Ozzie Albies, who has struggled. You look on the FanDuel side, same thing. Ozzie Albies is 3 and Markakis is 3.3. Even Josh Donaldson's 3.2. Swanson has been pretty good.
Once Swanson went up to the 2-hole and Albies went down to the bottom of the order, that just significantly impacted. I mean, Albies in the beginning of the year, right in April, he was at the top, and then some days it was Enciarte, and then that all faded away, and then all of a sudden it became Acuna at the top, and then Swanson there, which I'd rather have Acuna in the 3-hole personally.
Yes.
But,
it's possible he could move up. He does move up the order with against lefties. But, I mean, you look at Dansby Swanson, and this guy's on a heck of a run right now. I believe he's got hits in 12 of his last 13 games. He had back-to-back home runs over the weekend. He's getting on base in that 2 spot, and he's scoring runs with the guys hitting behind him. The Braves are an expensive stack. They really are. All their guys. You're not going to get any value. Those are just the 2 guys that you'll get value from, like with Markakis and Albies, or if you're playing over on FanDuel, JD. But overall, I mean, I like the Braves to win this game. I mean, get one of the highest totals, 5.2. And, from a betting standpoint, I was just looking early this morning. They opened up at, minus 130. They're already minus 180. Like, you got to jump on that right away before the public does. But It's not a bad option. There's other options I do like. Fried, I'll probably pass on. There's just he doesn't strike out a ton of guys. I think there's more upside down the board.
All right, let's get on to the Yankee game here where Tanaka's in play against the Toronto Blue Jays. Now, just looking at the last couple of starts, obviously they took a loss there against the Padres last week. 7 strikeouts, though. He gave up 9 hits, 2 walks in that one. So, I mean, he still put up a decent amount of points. Not great, more on the FanDuel side. So on FanDuel, he's 9.2. On DraftKings, he's 9.3, so not too much of a difference there. But look, I mean, that Blue Jays lineup, I expected more out of them this weekend in Colorado. And if you can't get it done in Colorado,
Right.
I mean, it really is an indictment on look, it's inexperience and youth, and it's thin. As much as people might like Randall Grichuk's power, Justin Smoak's power, and stuff like that, it's those guys are better suited in lineups where there's more protection. And right now, they are the protection. And I think that's not really where those kind of hitters thrive. They're more of those secondary guys. Like, you drop any of those guys in the Twins lineup, they're super exciting.
Oh, for sure.
But when you isolate them on their own and then you have a bunch of young kids around them, I think it becomes harder when you have guys like Jansen and Biggio and Vlad all kind of learning on the ground. I think that's tough.
That's why I like Tanaka, and because, I mean, you just said it. They went into Colorado against John Gray, and I think they had like 1 hit. They just didn't do anything against John Gray. And in Colorado, they just – Senzatella was another guy, a high-contact guy. They just didn't get a lot of success from. So I like Tanaka in this spot, and, he's been hit or miss. He gives up the home run here and there for sure. The ERA is still 3.2, even with a couple of those bad blow-ups. Like, he doesn't get into too much trouble with the walks, and the strikeout upside is there. And you go look at the board on DraftKings, and you see Tanaka price like basically the 10th price pitcher on the board. So, and FanDuel, I mean, 8 or 9 in there. I think he's a better value on DK, and the Jays strike out. So, yeah, I think he's a decent cash game option as well.
All right, now my pick of the night here, Aaron Hicks at 3.2 against Clayton Richard over on FanDuel. It's a fantastic price for him. He's probably going to hit in the cleanup spot again. Or somewhere around there. He's 4.1 on DK. He's a terrific value. And if you want to get a stack of Hicks, Torres, I like that a lot. You can even do Sanchez, Hicks, Torres too, and you can get it done. I know Sanchez is very expensive still, but even on the FanDuel side too, which is, where you don't have to play the catcher, I think a guy on a night like tonight, Sanchez at 4.3 you could do Sanchez at 4.3, Hicks at 3.2, Gleyber Torres at 3.7. That is a beautiful stack there against Clayton Richard in the middle of that lineup in Toronto. I love that spot for those 3 guys.
Yeah, and for Richard, 84% contact rate headed in, so the Yankees are going to be able to make some contact. And Hicks has been he's slowly starting to turn a corner. I really do feel like that. He's starting to get dropped in season-long leagues. Guys, you waited long enough for Hicks to get back.
Yeah, I mean, the guy had no spring training. I mean, I don't know what people expect. This is not like, Aaron Hicks is a nice player. He is not, when you drop Tony Gwynn back in a lineup who hasn't been in a lineup for a couple weeks. You know what I mean? It's not, he's not that kind of a hitter. Like, it's just, he's not a Hall of Famer. Right. Or, like Victor Martinez, another one of the, like, there's certain guys that were just professional hitters. It didn't matter where they were, whatever they were, how long they were out. You put a bat in their hand and they just show up and hit. It's just, that's not how it works with just even good players in Major League Baseball. Give him some time. And I think Clayton Richard will help him.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, he's got hits, and he's reached base in 5 of his last 7 games. He's got 6 RBI over that span. Yeah. So
this is the time to own him while the getting's good, while he's cheap, and in the middle of the order.
Exactly. Like Manny Machado, grand slam last night. We've been talking about him for weeks, so you just take that discount.
That's right. Be aggressive. Okay. Blake Snell is 11,000 on FanDuel. On DK, guess how much? 11,000.
Oh, my.
Same price against the Detroit Tigers. So I'll put it to you, Snell or Strasburg tonight. Which way you want to go?
I
Strasburg at home, National League.
Yeah.
But Snell on the road against the Tigers, who are not very good at baseball.
Yeah, and you know what? The Tigers actually, like, Goodrum has been a little bit better lately. You know what? I think
Nico had a good game on Friday.
Yeah, he did. And was he 5 for 5? They hit around
5 for 5. Not bad. Not bad.
They hit around some of the Braves. Like, they were getting some runs. They were getting on base to Soroka. I forget who they played on Friday. Maybe it was Gossman or something. They were making things happen. I think I'll lean Strasburg because the fact of the pitcher. I like that advantage. It sometimes gets overlooked. Like, you don't have to face the DH. You're going to face Ronaldo Lopez a couple times, and I think that's a win for Strasburg. But with the White Sox, like, as much as they strike out, they do have guys that can really get at you, like Abreu, a Moncada. Like, we've yet to see the best.
Oh, I definitely like the White Sox lineup better.
Yeah,
there's no doubt about that. But I'll take my shot with Strasburg.
Yeah,
tonight.
I think so as well.
I mean, same price, same thing. There's no discount anywhere, so I might as well just.
Yeah,
I'll pay the extra $200 or $300 for Strasburg, which is what I have to pay.
And Washington is going to get to Ronaldo Lopez tonight too, so that's obviously a plus as well.
Yes, that is always a plus there. Unfortunately, it's a little expensive to get a hold of him. It's expensive to get a hold of guys like Austin Meadows and Tommy Pham too. But a little bit more so on the FanDuel side. Austin Meadows at 4.4, but still, I mean, on DK, Meadows. Dude, on DK, he's gone through the roof right now. He is, where's he at 5.7? Ooh.
Yeah, that's expensive. I mean, you just kind of have to pass. Like, you see the average, you see the fact that he's crushing lefties. I mean, if you can get him in there, fine. But I mean, 357 is what he's hitting on the year. It's hard to ignore. I mean, he's got a 404 BABIP. He's going to eventually come back down to earth. But at that point, I think you just fade him.
All right, now you got the Twins going into Cleveland here. So this one should be fun. Smelter's on the mound, the young lefty. He's 7.5 on DK. He's going to be very trendy tonight, I think. Yeah, he's 8.3 over on the FanDuel side. Bieber is 9.5 on FanDuel, on DK 9.8. So very similar price there. Now, Bieber's a tough out. You know what I mean? Like, that's a dude where, you know, I understand the love for Smeltzer because he's so cheap, especially with guys like Snell and guys like Strasburg being so expensive tonight, going up to the board there on those guys and then having some discount. I get it. I understand it. But I don't know. I feel like it's a bit of a trap. I think we can do better tonight with our combined two pitchers, and I think Smeltzer's going to be very popular. What are your thoughts on Smeltzer? Were you impressed with anything you saw out of him in that first outing?
I was impressed with his first outing, and I was actually a little bit surprised. I didn't think he'd be a huge strikeout guy. I mean, he did show that early on in his, minor league career, like rookie ball and stuff. He was striking guys out. I mean, I think he had 102 in 90 innings once, but, in 24 AAA innings, he only had 15K. And, I mean, his ERA was 1.82.
That's not a good ratio.
No, and his xFIP was up near 6 compared to his 1.82 ERA, and he was walking guys. So I was a little bit surprised that his outing was that good. I mean, he faced a really good team in Milwaukee. He only gave up 3 hits over 6 scoreless and 7K. I think he'll be fine, but I agree that he's going to be trendy. I mean, it's a good matchup against Cleveland. I mean, they strike out. They're not scoring any runs. They're just like, that order is just really, I mean, Lindor is starting to come around. Still waiting for Ramirez as much as we push him. And like Carlos Santana is having basically a career year in terms of average. But other than that, there's a lot of holes. So I agree. I think maybe don't have a lot of exposure to him because he will be popular. He's really trendy over the past week in the fantasy community, but I will have maybe 1 or 2 shares of him. I like the Twins. I'm not going to shy away from the Twins, at least on the money line. They were road dogs, Joe, the entire series against Tampa, and they won that series. Again, they're heading into Cleveland. I get it. Shane Bieber is solid, still giving up a lot of hard contact, 13 home runs in the year. Like, you can kind of get to him. Take Minnesota as one of the best teams in baseball. Road dogs, they're plus money today. You got to jump on that.
I agree with that from a betting standpoint. I am all in on that one. I will say this, though. I'm going to have shares of the Cleveland offense today because I like the price. I like him against the lefty. Lindor is only 3.7 on FanDuel. Again, this is a FanDuel play, not so much a DraftKings play. Jose Ramirez at 3, Oscar Mercado at 3. So you can get some pieces there. Luplow, if you want to, stack the Indians there, they're very cost effective. And in tournament wise, I think going to be low owned and there's potential there against Smeltzer because he might only be a 5-inning guy today.
No,
and
you're absolutely right. Yeah.
And I'm looking at it and I think there will be a lot of heat on the Twins. And I think this means opportunity, especially. This is a very big multi-entry FanDuel play. So, again, we like to be real specific here on the show and make sure that we're getting and targeting how we want to use guys, not just the guys we want to use, but on what site we want to use them and what kind of gameplay we want to use them. And I think Cleveland is a stack on FanDuel multi-entry to have a share of tonight because I think there's potential there, especially from an ownership percentage. I think they're going to be low-owned, and it's going to be a good return on investment potentially too, because there's not one guy on this team above 3.7. The highest guy is Lindor at 3.7, so you can get him. You can get, you could even put Carlos Santana in there too if you want to. Yes. I prefer him as a left-handed batter. But by the time that Smeltzer's out of this game, potentially, he might be on the other side of that.
Oh, you're dead on. And you got to be contrarian. Again, you have to. I mean,
this is the contrarian play of the night, I think. Because I think Smeltzer, everybody sees the young guy, good first outing, and he's super cheap, and I'm going to go the other way.
Yeah, I actually like it a lot. In fact, you've kind of talked me into it. It's a smart play, and if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. But you're going against the grain, and if it does work out, you are completely ahead of the curve because you're right. Guys are not going to be on Lindor or Jose Ramirez tonight. They're just not going to be, and I think that's a smart call.
All right, now this next one, I'm just going to throw up in the air and run away. I don't know what to do about it. I have no beat on it. You could take all the numbers, you could throw them away. Because it's Madison Bumgarner on the road against Noah Syndergaard. Now, they're both practically the same price. They're both, one's 8.9, one's 9 on FanDuel. On DraftKings, you're paying a little bit more for Syndergaard, 9.6 as opposed to just 9 for Bumgarner. So basically, you have to pick a side here and flip the coin and try to be right. You got Cano back in this lineup, so that's a positive for the Mets. But I don't trust either of these offenses, to be honest with you. The Mets are favored in this one. Their expected run total 3.7 for the Mets, 3.3 for the San Francisco Giants. I know Yastrzemski's had a decent weekend, but I mean, I don't know, man. I want to believe in Syndergaard. It's a home game.
Yeah,
I would lean that way, but I just have no confidence. I have no confidence in him this year, and it sucks, but it's just the fact. It's where we're at with him.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, you look at their strikeout numbers; they're fine. Like the Caper Nines, both at 9, but ERA that's flirting with 5 for Syndergaard. And for Bumgarner, he just doesn't get the offensive support. It's weird. I was just looking into some numbers, like who has allowed the most hits in baseball this year? It's like these two are not. They haven't allowed the most, but Syndergaard has allowed 79. It's the 5th most in baseball. And Bumgarner's allowed 74. It's the 12th most in baseball. He's getting hit hard 45% of the time, line drive 27% of the time. Like these guys who are usually just studs, you go up and you play them with confidence, they're getting hit. Like there's you look at the strikeouts, they're there, but they're also like allowing a lot of contact and a lot of hard contact. So I'm going to shy away from this matchup. I'm with you. I would lean Syndergaard because I think, his team could give him a little bit more offensive support. He does have the better matchup. Like there isn't a guy in that lineup in San Fran like a Peter Alonso, like a Michael Conforto, or even put in a veteran bat like Cano in there. So I'm completely just going to shy away. I really am.
I have to. Hard pass.
Yeah.
And I know sometimes, those games are opportunities, and sometimes we do take a side on the 50-50 game. Sometimes we have a real beat on it, but I think more often than not, especially in cash, it's better to just stay away. And just say, screw it. In tournaments, if you want to get in on that action, that's fine. I think you fade this game altogether and just watch and hope that you can get a better read on one of these guys going forward, and hopefully Syndergaard is that guy. We'll find out. Pablo Lopez taking on Chase Anderson. This one's in Milwaukee. So, therefore, what does that mean? That means Christian Yelich is back in play. Yay! 4.8 for Yelich on FanDuel. That's almost kind of a discount for him, considering where some of the price has been. But no discount on DraftKings. He's 5.9.
Oh, my goodness.
5.9 over on there. So, look.
Manny Grandal, 5.2. Like, it's expensive. Eric Thames, 5. Like, oh, my. It's expensive to get any of these.
It is. And this would be a perfect night for Keston Hiura, and I'm mad that he's not in the lineup.
What about Travis Shaw at 2.5?
I'll tell you what. He's the lineup builder. I get it. I've done that with Shaw earlier in the year.
Yeah.
Mixed results. I'm not buying it now. First game back from injury.
Everyone's all ticked off at Shaw. No way they'll play Travis Shaw. I mean, I agree. Probably not his first game back, but
I think it's
maybe somebody to talk about this week. He may be somebody to talk about this week. He's feeling the kid. He's feeling the pressure. Like he's going to have to put together a good few games here to stick in the lineup. Whether that's a good thing or not, sometimes the pressure can get to a guy, and you just struggle even more. But he's probably somebody to keep an eye on this week. And
not only that, but then Moustakas is moving back and forth around the field too.
Yeah.
So now you got him moving back to second base and all that nonsense. So that being said, let's take a little time for the Marlins and give them some love over here because Harold Ramirez has been tremendous.
It really has.
I mean, let's talk. I mean, in our home league here, in my home league that I run that you're in, I picked up Harold Ramirez and I spent a lot on him on Fab. And the first couple of weeks were rough, but I hung in there because I figured, well, they have no reason to send him down. The rest of his lineup is terrible. And it looks like the kid's been figuring it out. And I just want to point out, FanDuel 3.2. He's more expensive on DK. He's 4. They're giving him the respect he deserves. But Harold Ramirez has had a pretty good season so far when you consider, rookie season, bad team, no line of protection, all these things. I think he's shown you that he belongs in the major leagues.
Yeah, I mean, he's hitting 373. He's getting on base actually every single game, and he's actually driving.
Ton of multi-hit games over the last month too.
Yeah, a ton of them. Yeah, for sure. Over the last 2 weeks, he's been actually one of the better players. You know what? He's actually ranked 15th on Yahoo. Wow. That's including pitchers. He's the 15th ranked fantasy player over the last 2 weeks, thanks to a 415 average, of 456 on base percentage. He's got 10 RBI, 22 hits, and 11 runs. So, I mean, he's getting on base. He's scoring runs. He's a value. We talked about the Miami squad last week when they were all under 3K on FanDuel. And you know, Chase Anderson is nothing special. He's a guy that, you know, typically gets lit up at home. And he's a guy that gives up some fly balls, gives up some home runs. Last year, over 82 innings, a 5.03 ERA at home compared to a 2.74 ERA on the road. So don't be surprised if Miami, you know, gets to him.
Yeah, look, I think tonight's starting to stack up as a night of oppos. It's a night of contrarian plays. I already, you know, talking about the Marlins here and talking about Ramirez. I'll tell you what, Alfaro in that ballpark I like a lot. If you're going to play, you know, I got to play catcher there. I would certainly keep him in play. So to me, it's those two guys, that Cleveland offense. I think there's opportunity for tournaments tonight. You can play the safe option there, you know, go your Snells and your Strasburgs and all those guys. And I'll tell you what, some of these offenses we're talking about fit in well if you want to take one of those cash game arms and put them into tournament lineups.
Yes.
Because you can actually fit them in here. And I think that might be the way to go. That's how that's kind of stacking up here tonight. No pun intended. See what I did there?
Yeah, I did.
Joke, and it's a DFS joke. They said stack.
Oh, man.
All right, Colorado Rockies and Jeff Hoffman take on Kyle Hendricks. I love Hendricks at home. I really do. Colorado's been hot, though, and they were even better on the road before they went back to Colorado. So I'm going to stay away from it with the price of Hendricks at 9.5 over on FanDuel. I think that's just too much for me. On DK. On FanDuel, he's even more. He's 10.2. Yeah. I can't get behind this at all, Chris. I'm sorry.
No, I agree. He's a better pitcher at home. He's a good ratios guy. You know, he does give up a lot of contact, but most of it is on the ground. I just can't get there either because I just don't see the strikeout upside. Kyle Schwarber, you know, his price is continuing to increase, but I still think he is a decent value, you know, especially over on the FanDuel side. I mean, he's been leading off for a couple weeks now, and he's getting on base. He just looks more comfortable at the plate. He's hit a couple home runs. So, I mean, if you're looking at him at 3.5 on FanDuel, I mean, he was 3 for the longest time. And then on DraftKings, he's now up to 3.9. Carlos González, we've been down this road with him before. He's 3.3. He was inserted. He played his first game with the Cubs yesterday. Didn't do a whole lot at the plate. I think he had a hit, but he had a terrific catch in the outfield. If he's going to get inserted into that lineup right around that 5 spot, I'll take a shot on him. He's 2.2 on FanDuel. I mean, how could you not?
Yeah, I mean, come on. Let's get in there.
Yeah.
Let's figure it out. Let's find a way to make it work there. 2.2. Jeez.
Yeah.
Yikes.
This is too cheap.
I mean, you know what, though? I'll tell you what. I get that. I get that concept, especially if you're in a cash game where you're just loading up on everywhere else and you're going to take one punt play.
Yeah.
But I don't have much faith in Carlos González at this point. He's starting to reek of the guy hanging on at the end.
Definitely. I would agree with that. I mean,
like Kendrys Morales is that, like, when these guys start playing for like 3 teams in one season, that's always a giant red flag of like, all right, this guy, it's time to hang him up, bro. It's been
like the Carlos González revenge game tonight? No, I don't either. And there's a reason he's moved around a lot. I mean, that's actually
the revenge narrative is actually one of the better ones. Actually, it's one of the better reasons I could get behind him, to tell you the truth.
Guys, I mean, just maybe one lineup as a punt play. That's it. I mean, I don't expect a whole lot.
All right, Dylan Bundy against Drew Smiley in Texas. Now,
here's some fly ball pitchers.
Get out your money. Now, here's the rub with this one though. Joey Gallo went out with an oblique injury, so he's going to be out.
Yeah.
God knows how long. They say it's going to be less than Aaron Judge, but we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens. I mean, Aaron Judge we're still waiting on, and that feels like years waiting on Aaron Judge for some reason. I don't know.
It does.
But I'll tell you what I do know is that Chu, Elvis Andrus, Mazzara, Hunter Pence, a guy that has had a great season that we don't talk about enough. On FanDuel, 3.9 for Chu, 3.5 for Andrews, 2.8 for Santana. Mazzara's at 3.6, Pence is at 3.9, Asdrubal Cabrera's at 3.2.
Odor's 2.6. I think he's a tournament option as well.
All right, so Odor's in there too against definitely Texas Rangers stack is going to be super popular. I don't think it's wrong.
You can go the other way, too, and go Baltimore if you want. I mean, you can get a better discount on guys like, VR.
Not on DK, you can't. On DK, the Baltimore guys are more expensive on DraftKings than the Rangers guys, and I'm freaking out about it.
Yeah, that is a bit much. I mean, I know Baltimore just wrapped up a series against San Fran, and they hit some home runs, but yeah, that is a bit much. Over on FanDuel, I think there's a little bit better of a discount. Renato Nunez he's got 7 bombs against lefties so far. He's 3.6. I like him a lot. I was thinking about my home run call. I might go another way, but for Smiley, 48% fly ball rate, a 56% hard hit rate. That is the top mark in baseball, a 26% line drive rate. So as bad as Bundy is as well with the bombs and the fly balls, Smiley is just as brutal, if not worse. So I think there's going to be a lot of runs scored in this game. It's just trying to find out some of this value. You're right. We don't talk about Hunter Pence enough. Cabrera been a great bat. Anders has a very solid. Chu is, man, I can go up and down this lineup.
What's the expected total in this one? 11?
Yeah, the expected total is, it's 11.
I'll take the over.
Yeah, for sure. Jump on it now because that's going to go up to 11.5, 12 before.
Yeah, I'm going to take the over right now if it's still at 11 anywhere. I'm going to do it. I feel good about it. Let's go rock on. Eduardo Rodriguez, where we hope continues to put things in the right direction, is going to take Glenn Sparkman on.
Oh, here we go.
I know people enjoyed my Glenn Sparkman joke last week. I got a couple tweets about the Glenn Sparkman.
Yes, you should have.
So Glenn Sparkman took some time off from his other career as a owner of the strip club where Genesis Cabrera works. And Glenn Sparkman is going to be 5.5. Eduardo Rodriguez, 8.1 over on FanDuel. On DK, he's going to be 8. So Eduardo will be popular tonight because I think people looking for the W, people looking for the return on investment there. Obviously the Red Sox are going to be a heavy favorite in this one against the Royals, even though it's on the road. So I understand the love for him there. I get it. Offensively, my balls are in the basket with the Texas Rangers and the Orioles. That's, and some of the other stacks we talked about. Anything else from this game you want to talk about?
No, I think, Devers and Benintendi at 3.6 and 3.7 on FanDuel. That's interesting to me. Javis, 3.3. I mean, Sparkman only lasted an inning last time out. He had 4 runs in 1 inning against the White Sox. So those are just a couple value bats in that lineup.
Yeah, right. All right, Cincinnati against St. Louis now. There could be some weather issues in this one, so just keep an eye on that. Luis Castillo is at 10K against who? Genesis Cabrera. So you see the strip club is definitely shut down for the night because I love that's a part of the running joke now is because they're on the same schedule, those two guys.
I know, it's amazing.
And one's in Kansas City, one's in St. Louis.
Yeah, it works out perfectly.
I just want to point that out there.
Yeah, it's down the road from each other. There's a place in between where these guys work. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. So anyway, the tough part, I love Castillo. On the road against the Cardinals, I love less compared to, you're getting $1,000 discount. So the $1,000 discount I'm okay with if you're going to fade Snell and Strasburg. I just really like the matchups for Snell and Strasburg more. So I'm willing to try my best to get those guys in there. Especially with Ryu on the board, too, at that same amount. Ryu's just been lights out. And he's taking on Taylor Clark tonight. So that's another one where, to me, give me Ryu number 1, Strasburg number 2, Snell number 3. And then even though you're getting $1,000 discount, even though it's a fade and you could save some money and stuff, I think you can get away with it. And I think Castillo's a hard 4 here right now with that group.
Yeah, I think he's definitely a tournament option. I'm not going to have a lot of exposure to him, though, Joe. You know how I feel about the Cardinals. Some walks lately, 4 walks in his last outing, 3 the one before that. He walked 5 against San Fran. I know his upside is there, and I am interested in the fact that we'll probably get him with a low ownership tonight in St. Louis. But yeah, I'm gonna kind of shy away. I'm gonna spend up for the Snells and the Strasburgs. I'm gonna go that way, and in that price range, I like Tanaka.
Yeah, Ryu's 11.2 on FanDuel, 11.3 on DK, so no price difference there. Welcome back, David Peralta. You get Hyunjin Ryu. I can't even use you tonight because you're getting Ryu. And I'll tell you what, I don't care if it's chalk. I don't care. Don't care.
I wondered if we were maybe fade away from Ryu. No, there's no chance.
For me, no.
For the top 6 hitters against lefties, all Diamondbacks. Escobar, Marte.
There'll be less ownership on Ryu because of that.
That's what I'm thinking.
All the nerds will be crunching those numbers, and meanwhile, let's talk. Give me again the Ryu strikeouts to walks for the year.
Oh man, it's off the top of my head, I don't know, but it's honestly, it was just over 100 to less than 10 over 100 innings. That's a strong.
Well, and the other reason
much better at home than on the road, but still.
It is. I'll tell you what. If you want to take the only thing that the guy will make the case for is Strasburg over him at home tonight. I'll make the case for Strasburg at home over Ryu tonight. That's fine. But Taylor Clark, it's not that Taylor Clark's a bad young pitcher. He's not. He does have some upside. But I don't expect Taylor Clark to go very long in this game, and I expect this Dodger lineup to just pound on Taylor Clark. And if they don't, Taylor Clark's still going to be out of this game come 5 2/3.
Exactly.
And then that bullpen is going to come in. They're going to pound that bullpen. So either way, look, it's just tough not to like.
Oh, I know. Dodgers money line, obvious.
Yeah. How about the comeback down to earth for Frankie Montas' salary after last week, eh?
On FanDuel, but on
FanDuel. But look at DraftKings, still 10.4.
He's still 10-4, and he just played the Angels. I mean, they were patient with him. They got some walks. I mean, I was talking about
we faded him in that game, and we were 100% right. And, dude, I'm looking at this.
I'm not going back to him.
I'm not going back to him either. Why would we do this?
I don't want him to be my one pitcher on FanDuel. Absolutely not. And I'm not spending 10-4. Like, there's no chance. Like, even in the late slate, there's no chance I'm going this way. I'd rather go Paddock or Eichhoff against the grain.
Chris Meaney, you've said it all. There's nothing left to be said, except do we want to talk about the fact that Mac Olson is only 2.9 on FanDuel tonight.
And as good
as –
as –
Chapman's 3.7. Simeon, 3.1. Chapman, 3.7. Olson, 2.9. Chris Davis, 3.6. If you're not in on the A's tonight, I don't know what's wrong with you.
Right. And as good as Griffin Canning has been, he's due for some regression. He really is, guys. I've watched basically every one of his starts, a 3.06 ERA.
But they're starting to see him more, too. This is the second time they're seeing Canning also.
A 90% strand rate, a 48% fly ball rate. Absolutely. You get in some of those fly ball hitters, Chris Davis, Matt Olson, Matt Chapman. It's a great stack. It really is, especially in the evening. That's the way to go.
All right. Now I'll ask you another question. Is Paddock the $10,000 fade from all the top guys who are 11 from the Snell, Strasburg, Ryu group? Because I said Castillo, less so against the Cardinals. You kind of were on board with that. Is Paddock the guy against this Phillies? I say yes.
Yeah.
That's the guy to fade for.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, he has been pretty good. Not as good lately, not as crisp, but hard hit rate, third highest in baseball. So, I mean, as much as I, was all over the Phillies, I'm not saying to stack them, but I'm just saying to kind of maybe go away from here. Honestly, I'd maybe go the other way with Jared Eichhoff. I know he's struggled lately with the home runs and fly balls, but the Padres have a top 3 strikeout rate. I mean, if you're looking for a cheap option in the evening, like I'd much rather play Eichhoff against San Diego than Montas against the Angels at that price. I'd rather save myself $3K and then stack up on some other bats.
All right, fair enough. And the only thing left here is Wade Miley against the Seattle Mariners. We're not big Wade Miley fans here, obviously, on the show. And look, in Seattle, not really loving the game from a price perspective and return on investment with the bat. Everyone is appropriate pricing. There's no discounts. There's nothing really to offer here in terms of lineup building. But there's a ton with the A's. There's opportunity with the Marlins. There's opportunity with the other side. What you talked about Baltimore. Yeah, Texas is going to be chalky. That's okay. But there's a lot to like. Even Cleveland tonight, I think, is very much in play. So there's a lot to like tonight in terms of offense. We talked about, just to recap, too, Ryu and Strasburg kind of 1 and 1A tonight. Snell just a notch below because he is on the road, and sometimes you got to take that into account. And look, Ryu's just been insane. It's just he's been so ridiculously good. Montas, we're staying away from. We're fading away also from Kyle Hendricks. And Smelter's going to be super popular tonight.
He is, yeah.
I think there's some Oppo love for Shane Bieber. I really do. We're running away from the Mets and Giants, and so should you. And that means, Chris Meaney, we come to the point in the show where there's only one thing left to do here, and that is call our shot. So let's get back at it, and let's get on track. I'll go first, and I'm going to go out on a limb. Sometimes I don't like to get fancy. Sometimes I do. And today I'm going to put my fancy pants on, and a guy that we've highlighted all day here on the show, and that's Harold Ramirez in Milwaukee. Woo! Going yard against Chase Anderson or whoever else they put in front of him. That's my shot. Who you calling your shot with, my friend?
Oh, man. Fancy pants, Joe. I wish
fancy
I could get his
Harold Ramirez. Do it. Yeah.
All right, I'll try to – I can't. I like Juan Soto. I like Juan Soto. I was going to go a little bit different with Nunez.
That's a good one.
I like Juan Soto. I know he's super pricey. There's a bit more of a discount on FanDuel at 4-2 against Ronaldo Lopez. I mean, he really has struggled against left-handed bats, and just looking at some of the slasher. I mean, yeah, a 313, 401, 567, and 404 WOBA against lefties. So I think I think he's going to Swatto one out of the park. Is what
I was like, Juan Swatto. I see what you did there.
Swatto deep to left.
Hashtag Juan Swatto. Chris Meaney doesn't have a speech impediment. It's just a clever nickname. All right. So from a betting standpoint, what are you going to recap for us real quick too? What should people
So
be
there's a
on?
lot of big favorites on the board today, guys, but don't be afraid to take like teams like Minnesota, maybe Atlanta by 2 to get a little bit more value, Tampa by 2. But I do like the Twins right now as road dogs. I like the Cardinals as home dogs as well. I think the Dodgers by 2. The Red Sox by 2. Like, I think you really have to, if you're looking for some value, you're going to have to take some shots and pick these teams by more than one run because there's just, like I said, like it's just some heavy favorites on the board today. I think there's some value with Oakland on the road in LA and Milwaukee at home. I think that's a good spot for them as well.
All right. So you can follow us on the Twitter machine at LineStar App, at Joe Pisapia 17, and at Chris Meaney. Make sure you're downloading that app as well and utilizing it. Just try the free version and play around with it and see how great it is because it is truly awesome. The app is just killer, and get at that right away. And look, I mean, Chris, we're going to be back on Thursday, so you guys, don't worry. We'll be back Wednesday and this week a Thursday show, so keep that in mind because I know a lot of you missed us on Monday, wondering where we were. We were just taking the day off with 4 games because there wasn't a whole lot to talk about. But that's okay because I'm sure tomorrow we'll bring a whole lot to talk about. We'll hold ourselves accountable. We'll talk about what we got right, what we got wrong. We'll talk about Juan Suato and everything else you could possibly imagine, maybe even some rock films because as I'm looking at rock films, I haven't seen many rock films. I didn't see Baywatch, Rampage, Jumanji.
Whoa.
Hobbs and Shaw, I know it's not Travis Shaw. I know
a couple of those are decent. A couple of those you get.
I haven't seen Moana.
Yeah.
I haven't seen. I saw the Scorpion King. That might be the. I haven't seen Walking Tall. I haven't either. So there you go. So like pretty much,
we got some watching to do.
I protest. Okay, GI Joe, the second GI Joe I saw, because I'm a mark for that. Other than that, man, not a lot of rock films. He's box office poison, yet he still keeps getting movies. Apparently, because I don't know. Maybe he's not box office poison. Maybe I'm just not interested.
Probably what it is.
But we're interested in you, and we'll be back tomorrow to chat DFS and all things baseball with you. For Chris Meaney, I'm Joe Pisapia. That'll do it for us. There's only one thing left now, and that is to step out of the on-deck circle and into the batter's box and go yard. We'll see you next time, kids.
You've been listening to the DFS On Deck podcast, brought to you by LineStar. Hit subscribe, tell a friend, and stay tuned for the next episode from fantasy baseball experts Joe Pisapia and Chris Meaney.